we participated in this process. So this way, we are going to finish this panel session, and towards the end, there will be some concluding remark, and then the customary thing, a vote of pleasant thanks to all of us. So this is how we are going to proceed in this session. Whatever teacher education pattern is there in this country, more or less, with some elements here and there, it's a global pattern because we learn from different countries also, and every time this is cross learning thing. So I will not go much back, but if we look at the teacher education journey in this country post-independence, we see that whatever the committees, commissions, initiatives, 5-year plans, all the different bodies, one thing is very common. The consensus is they all understood the very importance of the teacher and the teacher's quality for the quality of education. If the education has to be of quality, the teacher's quality matters, and teacher plays a pivotal role in education. So this is coming as a consensus out of all these, these years of journey and turmoil and the churning of ideas and all that. It's all documented. So because most of us, we are teacher educators, we are working in the field of education, we know the history. I'll touch this 36 policy, where there was a bit serious change in teacher education. And the 36 policy focused more on the learning continuum or the training continuum. And it extended the training from pre-service to, the focus was more on that in-service training program. And that was a bigger turning point in teacher education, 86. And we can understand those who are working, our friends are here, the emergence of DIET is a product of that idea. So DIET came into being, and then in-service training programs, taking teacher education to the district level, the decentralization of the whole program and all that. So that was one point. So the continuous education, the continuous training, the in-service training, so continuum from pre-service to in-service, that was focused, and it was meant to prepare and enrich and strengthen the teachers. So that if the teacher, and there's a connection we all understand, if teacher is enabled, if a teacher is capable, if we enrich teacher, it will result into a student's learning. And broadly, we also understand that student learning is our biggest goal. That is the country's goal. Children's learning is the country's goal. And every country. So, teachers' enrichment results into a quality enhancement in the quality learning of children. So, direct, linear connections there. Linear connections there. And to enrich teacher, it's not the pre-service alone, but in-service programs are necessary, and that too continuous, repeated. So that was the budget. Then 1990, you understand the country changed, the globalization, liberalization, made many mega projects, etc. came to the country, and a lot of initiatives, a lot of thinking and churning took place in primary education, where we thought of universalizing primary education and elementary education later on in different flagship programs, through different flagship programs of the country. It continued. I remember when NCTE came into being, and after that, there was one framework, of course, that was before that, the Taylor's report, you must understand. There were big things in the Taylor's report. And just after that, we had one teacher education framework published by NCTE in 1996, I believe, 97. There also, very meticulously, they identify what makes a good teacher, the potentials, the characteristics of a good teacher, so that will go into the research of in-service training program. See, the meticulous exercise the country did, NCTE did that time also. And there were many things that happened. And later on, we got this SSA program, the flagship program. And then to remember, there are also many things chalked out about a good teacher training program. And accordingly, entire country, they were doing this, still they are doing. Then 2009, we had right to education. On record, there are specific characteristics, attributes of a good teacher. Then, we have different revised regulations after Justice Verma's committee, and we had 2014 regulation, and then we are here in 2020. The idea is that we have worked on this, that what makes a good teacher. And we have to prepare a good teacher, a quality. This is not a good teacher. Now, 2020 policy talks about a high quality teacher. See, the attribute has been added to the quality teacher. So, high quality teacher, it's not alone the quality teacher, it's a high quality teacher. Because we assume that this high quality teacher will turn into a high quality learning in the workplace. So this is the higher vision of this policy, because this policy is transformative as well as a little bit futuristic. So 47 is right now before us, but it might go beyond 47 also. So country has to go much higher in the sense. Now mostly we think around about the country and within the country we might and still the policy talks about creating a global teacher, developing a global teacher. So we are thinking in terms of preparing global teachers. So this is the height now, this is the scale now. Now what is important in this is, and in teacher education is, so the continuity matters, the pre-service, in-service, but it's not the end. This end, pre-service, in-service, now if you end up here, I think there again would remain some problems in teacher preparation. Now, teacher preparation is what? What a good quality of teacher? What are the stages? If we select a student in a way that we find those who are motivated, those who are passionate towards teacher education, only those people will enter here as a student. First, so we have national level tests for that now. For ITEP and other programs, we have seen in the first session that there are many programs in the list of him, and later on also the second list would be coming. So many teacher education programs are there. But the whole thing is, what is the checkpoint? That at the entry level itself, to get a student entry into teacher training institute, we have a screening lot, passionate, motivated. If the motivated lot we get, then a rigorous training, a rigorous professional training to them. So it's a teacher preparation, it's a teacher training, it's a rigorous training. That's what. And then after that, the prepared teacher and equipped teacher will be. So these four stages, if a teacher is passed through right from entry to up to the school gate when he is appointed, so he is equipped now. He is not only passionate, he is not only motivated, he is not only properly and rigorously trained, he is prepared and he is equipped. Now all these words signify that a teacher is going to do something different in the school's classrooms, and there will be a sea change in the quality of learning. So this is one aspect, and this national education policy believes in this theory, in this logic, and that's why NCTE is coming up with so many new programs aligned with this teacher education concept in the policy. The second thing is, now I am coming to my point. Now, despite all these concerted efforts, you get the best students, you give them best training, pre-service training, you get them ready to join the workforce, and they are equipped also. Is it the guarantee to deliver the best? Is it the guarantee? It is an assumption, yes. If one is prepared this way, he will deliver the best. But is it the guarantee? No. No. See, human, you look at human beings, the very concept of, this lifelong learning, continuous learning, and on top of it, learning to learn. This mindset, learning to learn, learning every day, every moment, every time, everything. So that mindset, that attitude, learning to learn, and it's a process where it goes till the end of the life. So this mindset is very important, and why it's important, I tell you. Because in one go, we cannot understand everything. So for understanding everything, sometimes two things are very important in education. One is the experience, your practice. When we do practice, we start understanding things, we start getting abstraction, we become mature, we become more clear, and all those things. It happens. And the second thing is, for this, the interaction also matters. Interaction. Now these two words, the practice and the interaction, and the repetition of these two things in the profession for a teacher, I think that is going to change the teacher for good, permanently, for a long term in the system. Repeated these things, but where does it happen, and where can it happen? What are the platforms? Why? Because holes would be there. You know what Rafugar does, holes would be there. Even if we buy good shirts and pants and sarees and all that, sometimes here and there, some holes, some damage, something will be there. And then we need to darn it. We need to darn it because it's very precious. So darning is required. Refugee is required in teaching education, teaching and learning also. This refugee is very important. And why I am saying this is refugee, because the concept itself, philosophical concept itself, is the biggest challenge in this. Now, if you look at this national education policy and if you look at this teaching learning business, you will find the whole word. The first word, vision word is holistic. Now, what is this whole? What makes a whole? So, unless we understand the dimensions of a whole, the whole thing, we cannot do justice in our profession. So, we have to understand the dimensions, different dimensions of teaching and learning, so that we can understand the whole thing. We can understand the holistic development. So, this is one. Secondly, we have now the policy talks about some cross-cutting. They are very, very important. And since morning we are listening to, the cultural and this IPS and the knowledge system. Yes, that is also very important. Why is it important? Because we have to understand. And a country like India, we have a great, very big, huge civilizational, civilizational wealth, I would say. Civilizational, cultural capital we have in this country, more than 10,000 years also. So we have many at the highest level and the lowest level. So knowledge was there earlier at the highest level, and the modeling of that knowledge in the day-to-day practice, in the societal practice, the modeling, different traditions, different cultural practices and all that. Maybe in all these years, when I say this, say, after 2000 years, Now, this Indian culture has become little more muddy, but even prior to 2000 years also, it was a little bit mixing kind of thing, many ideas, different ideas grown on this land. So the ideas, then modeling, then practice in daily life or practices, traditions, customs, daily lifestyle, daily living, but still, and it's not that in one area, be it any domain of life, be it any domain of knowledge, it was so fully grown those years that in all the areas, whether it's art or music or grammar, if anybody from literary side, linguistic side, one can remember the Plenary Ashtadhyayi. I mean, no parallel in the world. So we have given zero or something. There are many things, medical science, Ayurveda, yoga. So in different disciplines, we have the height of things very strong, and then we have still now we have traces here. Even today, we find that in most of the traditions, culture in our society, we have traces of that highest kind of knowledge. And when I say IPS, doesn't mean only the knowledge contained in Veda and other scripts. That also means the indigenous knowledge. Knowledge grown on this land, Indian land. The philosophy grown on this land, developed on this land, Himalaya to this sea. So cross-cutting, policy talks about this. Policy talks about multidisciplinary. Someone raised that now it has to be, ITEP has to be multidisciplinary setup and all that. So those things. So multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, multilingualism, CP, Chairperson Sir, NCTE, he was uttering this word. So multilingualism. Integration, ICT integration, many things. So these are cross. They have to be everywhere. And why they have to be everywhere? I remember in the morning session, Professor Indo Prashad Man, she highlighted that the logic. Researches have been done a lot. And I think now no more research is required in that area. What is the merit behind? What is the logic behind? What are the evidences behind why it should be? So coming out from all those research findings and all that, these ideological things have been put up in the policy, and they should be the part of this. So any teacher education program, they have to entertain this. But if they are treated there in the syllabi, if they are treated there in the module in the insurance training program, alone they will not work. So on daily basis, some darning is required. Some gardener has to be there. Daily basis, sitting here, here you need a change. Here you need an improvement. Here you can correct yourself. Something darning, rafugiri. And then gradually, the person will emerge as the champion. One more point I would like to discuss here. We have certain assumptions in teacher education. Every child can learn. Every teacher can be trained. Assumption. There is no exception. Any child can be taught and the child can learn. Any teacher can be trained for anything. Then now we have departed from earlier thought that the child is not a passive learner. Child is not an empty vessel. These things we learn. Teacher is not only there. You were there in the class. Teacher is a co-creator. So these things now in this change, when we think of the quality, now these concepts, these abstract tenets, teachers should understand that this is what we have to change. Then the classroom situation. Apart from the passion, the motivation, the respect for the child, the empathy for the child, the love and care for the child, this diversity, respecting the diversity of the classroom, respecting the individual needs, problems, etc., values, etc., and the classroom all these things. In addition to that, the teacher has to, the policy says now a defaulted role understanding of the pedagogy. Now understanding of the pedagogy is defaulted first. The tenet is now, earlier also we used to say that no more rote learning. It's not that in NEP 2020 is saying. Earlier also it was said. But NEP 2020 is giving emphasis on it. No more rote learning, no more money. We have to depart from this to something knowledge can be created. So concept of knowledge cannot be given. It's not only the given concept, it can be created, it can be discovered, it can be generated, but it's not that it can be given only. It's all the time. So certain concepts we have to be clear, and then accordingly the pedagogy. So now we say that it has to be more engaging, it has to be participatory, it has to be activity based, it has to be discussion based, it has to be dialogue based, it has to be. Morning I was listening to art integrated and toy based pedagogy and number of things there, project and field based and observation and so on. So these are the things. These are the things. So a teacher has to be very, very enlightened. Now, to make a teacher every day remember this, practice this in all the affairs, in the classroom behavior, out of the classroom behavior, in the process of generation of knowledge, in bringing the cross-cutting issues. Multilingualism is there, and multilingual education could be a separate thing, concept. So, what is that? Multilingual education, what is the strategy for that in the classroom? So, all these things the teacher has to understand. And if he is telling somewhere, someone has to be there to help him out on the spot. Mentoring. Now, it comes with mentoring. It comes the helping the teacher during his work life on the place where the teacher is, and the place where the teacher is working, teacher is giving service, and teacher, how that teacher could be supported, how that teacher could be supported, that is the budget here, and that is the major challenge. So that a continuous learning, a lifelong learning, a very crystal clear learning on the part of the teachers will keep going, happening, occurring, and then the best teacher we can produce over the time. Good teachers we can produce over the time. Now, bringing these two concepts together, why I am saying it's not another challenge for a teacher is that teacher education has also become an ocean of information, and this information is full of technical jargons, words, constructs, many things. So words are there and full. It's ocean. But we also know that ocean water is not fit for drinking. So if you are throwing the child in the ocean water, the child will die. Even the teachers are dying. This NEP 2020 and after that series of seminars, workshops and all that, and many things are coming, books are being written and all that, but only the words and jargons and all that. So unless we understand the real inherent meaning of that, we cannot be a good teacher. We cannot practice that. We cannot translate that. So understanding the inherent meaning of the words terminology in teacher education is the biggest challenge. It is the teacher who will convert this hard water into soft water in the school situation, in the classroom. It is the teacher educator who will convert this hard water into the ocean of information, hard water. One cannot sip it, one cannot drink it, one cannot survive on it. So all these things give rise to two concepts. The NCTE has brought out this national professional standard for teachers, the guidelines, the statements which qualify make a best teacher, a good teacher for the system, a high quality teachers, and some categorization has been made there. So who could be, on the novice teacher, who could be the expert teacher, who could be the entry level teacher, proficient teacher, who could be the advanced teacher, and who could be the expert teacher. So like that. And the beauty is the connection between the two is that this school where the teachers are working will be the seat for mentoring. Now in NPST, the hidden part is, it's not the categorization which is important. It's not the terms, oh, expert teacher, this teacher, that teacher. What makes a teacher expert? What makes a teacher proficient? What makes a teacher advanced? So it is that mentoring process in schools. Mentoring process in schools. Now here comes the mentoring. So a physical side, schools, institutions will be the seat of mentoring. Now that mentoring concept is fully defined, understood. Who would be the mentor? Who would be the mentee? What should be the qualification for a mentor? What should be the qualification for a mentee? What will be the administrative design? What is that platform? So all these things together, and that would be beyond the school system. I wind up here right now. We'll have a presentation. Thank you.
धन्यवाद सर। शिक्षण अधिगम की गुणवत्ता हेतु कक्षाओं में ज्ञान व कौशल के प्रभावी रूप से शिक्षण की कितनी आवश्यकता है, इस पर सर ने काफी प्रभावी रूप से प्रकाश डाला है, जिसके विषय में एनईपी 2020 भी प्रभावी रूप से बात करती है। आइए एनपीएसटी और एनएमएम के विषय में थोड़ा सा हम भी जानते हैं एक प्रेजेंटेशन के माध्यम से। NEP 2020 पैरा 5.20 में बात करती है NPST के बारे में, जो कि नेशनल प्रोफेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉर टीचर्स हैं। पैरा 5.20 of NEP 2020 states that a common guiding set of NPST will be developed by 2022 by NCTE in its restructured form as PSSB under GEC in consultation with NCRTs, SCRTs, teachers from across levels and regions, expert organizations in teacher preparation and development, expert bodies in vocational education and higher education institutions. It will also comprise standards for performance appraisal for each stage that will be carried out on periodic basis. The NPST will also inform the design of pre-service teacher education programs. Promotions and salary increases might also be linked later on, but only on the basis of such appraisals. The professional standards will be reviewed and revised in 2030 and thereafter every 10 years on the basis of rigorous empirical analysis of the efficacy of the system. NPST aims to enhance the personal and professional development of teachers by providing them the understanding in terms of their performance and what needs to be done to enhance the same. At the same time, it seeks to ensure that all students are taught by passionate, motivated, highly qualified and well-equipped teachers. As we all know that there are very important dimensions to the noble profession of teachers which are on your screen. NPST takes into account all of these teaching professional dimensions. Now, coming on to the standards, I would like to tell that the NPST competency framework has 3 standards, 13 domains, and 16 subdomains. The very first standard is core values and ethics. The standard 2, onto the screen, you can see that, is knowledge and practice. The standard 3 is professional growth and development. The teacher profile is divided into the 3 stages. The first one is proficient teacher, that is Praveen Shikshak. The second one is advanced teacher, Unnat Shikshak, and the third stage is expert teacher, kushal shikshak. These three stages of teacher's profile are being explained in detail in NPST, on which the competency framework is going to be made and implemented nationwide. The implementation plan includes the identification and registration of teachers, application of standards, identifying teacher career stages, and the assessment, which includes the self-assessment and the external assessment. A National Center for Teacher Quality, NCTE, a digital platform has already been set up in NCTE, which will have the repository for teachers and will be responsible for the operationalization of NPST. You can see there is the NPST digital schema, which is onto the screen again. Now, coming on to the very next important NMM, National Mission for Mentoring, जिसके बारे में अभी रॉय सर ने काफी अच्छे से हमें एक्सप्लेन किया है, मेंटोर एंड मेंटी के बारे में सर ने, और किस तरह से ये पूरा मेंटरिंग सिस्टम चलता है, संपादित होता है, उसके विषय में अभी बताया। National Mission for Mentoring is already established by NCTE with a large pool of outstanding senior and retired faculties. Let me tell you that it is explained under paragraph 15.11 of NEP 2020, which states that a National Mission for Mentoring shall be established with a large pool of outstanding senior and retired faculty, including those with the ability to teach in Indian languages, who would be willing to provide short and long-term mentoring or the professional support as pertaining to university or college teachers. When we are talking about National Mission for Mentoring, NMM, I would like to tell that NMM envisioned to create a large pool of mentors with, as I have already told, that already NMM is in action and is going nationwide successfully, providing mentoring to the in-school teachers. NMM, the global guiding document, has been released, which provides comprehensive insights into the concept of mentoring with clear objectives, effective strategies, and practical guidelines for mentors, mentees, and program administrators. Also, there is a unified mentoring interface, that is an online platform through which this National Mission for Mentoring is actually being operationalized. Online platform के through यह चल रहा है प्रोग्राम वर्तमान में, जिस ब्लू बुक की बात कर रहे हैं हम, यह है ब्लू बुक जो कि ऑनलाइन भी अवेलेबल है, आप देख सकते हैं. So this blue book guiding document is already available in public domain, which can be referred anytime by the public. Also, I would like to inform and tell the implementation, the adoption of NMM program is by the states or UTs. Appointment of designated body for implementation of NMM in states and UTs is the next step. Nomination of nodal officer for this NMM, National Mission for Mentoring, for capacity building as a key resource person for state and UTs is the third step. Then the creation of digital platform in line with NCTE for NMM is the next step. And last, hand-holding of states/UTs in the implementation of NMM program. एक बात पुनः मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि NMM, National Mission for Mentoring, successfully NCTE द्वारा देश भर में रन किया जा रहा है, जहां पर प्रथम चरण में 60 मेंटर्स दिए गए और वर्तमान में 400 से ज्यादा मेंटर्स ऑन बोर्ड हो चुके हैं एक रिगरस सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस के द्वारा, और देश भर के अलग-अलग विद्यालयों में शिक्षक इस NMM प्रोग्राम के थ्रू मेंटरिंग प्राप्त कर रहे हैं. There is the digital platform where the registration of mentor-mentee is happening. The domains for training are being chosen. Then the identification of mentors or mentees is being done. The mentoring sessions are being scheduled. Then the mentor-mentee interaction, that is the training or mentoring, is being done through that online digital platform. And lastly, the mentor feedback, which is also a very important criteria and integrated component in this mentoring program, is also there. let me inform you the current status. Currently, number of mentors which have been onboarded are 402. Number of mentees registered are 1742 and total number of sessions conducted are 650. Let me inform again, there are two types of mentoring sessions. One are personalized, where one-on-one mentoring can be done by scheduling the one-on-one request for the mentoring by the mentee, that is the teacher, who wishes to get training on a particular domain. Also, the group mentoring session is there, which is also being conducted by the mentor. You can see onto the screen there are 21 different important domains of mentoring are there, which are actually providing the mentoring nationwide through this online digital platform of NCTE. And here we have an opportunity for all the teachers who wish to get registered as mentors, and the applications are invited by NCTE, and the last date is 28th February 2025. Thank you so much. I hope we are familiarized with the NPST and NMM program, which are two wonderful initiatives of NCTE under NEP 2020. एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए। बहुत बेहतरीन दो प्रोग्राम NCTE ने लॉन्च किए हैं, जो शायद देश में पहली बार लॉन्च हुए, अपने आप में यूनिक प्रोग्राम है। अब इस प्लेनरी सेशन 2 को मंच पर मंचासीन पैनल मेंबर्स के साथ आगे बढ़ाने के लिए मैं रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूंगा हमारे मॉडरेटर रॉय सर को कि सर प्लीज आप फैसिलिटेट करें।
I will go to my expert panelists now. My first question is to Professor Indu Prakash, ma'am. Ma'am, how do you visualize, visualize the outline of the competencies mentioned in this NPST document, and how do you feel, how do you see that they are going to help the teachers, the career, in their professional development? How do you visualize these two things together?
Thank you. See, I'm not a very serious person, so when he says we are going to have a very serious discussion, I'm very scared of serious discussions. I also want to sit at the back in that last row where that group is laughing so much. I want to know what is everybody laughing about. So, why don't you guys come in front there? Why sit right at the back? Eh? No, you like sitting last bench, no? Yes? Those guys, all. There's so much place in front. Nice to have young faces in front, right? No? Okay, got it. You're not going to do that. I can see. I'm assuming all of you are students of the teacher education program. Is that true? Yes? No? Yes or no? I'm asking students sitting there, are you students of the teacher education program? Yes. Little loudly, yeah? Yeah, okay, alright. So, this session is for the people sitting in front, it's also for the people sitting at the back. Yeah, especially you, because you are the people who are going to go into the system now as teachers, right? The group that is in front has mostly finished. They have to teach others, but you are the people who are going into the profession. So you're extremely important to this discussion. So, which is why I'm wondering whether you'll come in front. But it doesn't look like anybody wants to come in front. Huh? Sitting in the back is nice, I agree. See, if you, Dr. Roy asked me, how do you visualize this NPST, the National Professional Standards? This is the first time in India that we have articulated standards for teachers in this fashion. In this fashion. There have been all kinds of other competency frameworks we've put together. This is not a completely new idea. But to write national professional standards, it's the first time. Right? Why did we decide to do it? We decided for two reasons. One big reason was to have a common language and a shared understanding of who is a good teacher. If you ask all of us who is a good teacher, you'll get all kinds of opinions, right? So the idea was to try and build a shared understanding and try and build a common language. These were the two big reasons for actually having the National Profession Standards. You may not agree with every single line that is written in there, but what it does is it brings together a whole lot of distributed understanding into one place. So that is one very important thing. The second is that it can become the basis for curriculum development, both pre-service and in-service, because of the staging of the teachers, of the teacher skills and competencies. So that's a second extremely important reason why we decided to actually write standards. Most countries across the world have teacher standards. Most countries with good teacher education systems do have standards. They revise the standards every 5-6 years, but they have standards. And we never had, now this is our first attempt. Yeah. So that's about why the standards. And if you take a step back and look into a teacher's journey, which has been many of our journeys who have been teachers for many years, the first step is preparation. Obviously, what Professor also talked about. You study, you get prepared, you do all sorts of things to become a teacher. And then you step into school, which is what all of you at the back are going to do. You step into school. And those initial years of learning are absolutely critical. You're experimenting, you're trying, you're learning, you're failing a lot. If I remember my first few years as teacher, I failed and failed and failed. So, plenty of failure, plenty of learning from that failure, and plenty of trying to move forward. So that is one set. When you try many things, you think about it, you fail, you go back to what you've learned, you go to a mentor, and you go to a more senior teacher, you talk to others, you try and understand. I explained everything, still my children didn't learn. I gave a test and they did so badly. That kid is behaving so badly, I don't know what to do. You'll see it in all your teaching practice, right? When you go to your teaching practice, children will just take you on a nice chakkar, right? Especially young new teachers, children know. But that's very good learning for you as a teacher. Shouldn't give up. The third is what I call the step of consolidating your understanding. You reflect, you consolidate. Say 5-10 years into your experience, you begin to put that experience together. You begin to look at the 4, 5, 6, 7 years of experience, try and reflect on it, understand it, and try and get better at what you do. And then, as you grow older, you become what is considered an expert or a mentor for others. You try and put together your experience for others. So you're looking at largely 4 steps in the journey of a teacher. Preparation, your initial practice, consolidation, and so-called expert. I don't like that word. Nobody is one, but something. We'll find an equivalent word some other time. Right now, can't think of one. What the standards do is they actually help you through that journey. They actually help you as you develop as a teacher. They help you to learn better, they organize your learning, they organize your practice. They actually tell you where you are and where you ought to go. You can map yourself on those standards. And that is critical. Because sometimes we know something is wrong, but we don't know what is right. And we don't know how to get to what is right. So the standards help you from where you are to where you want to go. And you can map yourself on the standards, you can think about your own practice via the standards, and you can actually move. Mentoring plays a very, very important role in this, because very often, without a group, without a mentor, it's very hard to fight this battle all alone. So having a mentor, having someone to help you, having someone to teach you, that is very helpful. And the mentoring does not mean that you are asking a question and that person is giving you an answer, no. It really means having someone to talk to all the time. having someone to discuss, having someone to share, and then together you come up with some, some I won't say solution, but some way out. And that just helps you to improve. That's the way both these ideas are likely to work best. It's an experiment. It's an interesting, very important experiment. It will be as good as what we make of it. By itself, it's good, but it will be good only if we are able to use it and we are able to really make it part of your everyday practice. And for a person who has tried, from a person who has tried some of these things in my own teaching, I can say that it really, really helped me. Having both a framework and having a mentor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now the document talks about, the different category of teachers, and then it also says that these guidelines and standards, they will be kind of a tool to evaluate the teachers to transit to move from one level to another level. Now, this movement, mobility of the teacher, how do you find and what is the place in the document, whether it's upward, horizontal, and what is different levels, and what would happen if a teacher at some point in time would go up, not would like to go horizontally, move horizontally. So what is that catch given in logic given in this document? Sir.
Thank you, sir. Having to give this, speaking of the two eminent, like scholars have spoken, nothing much is there, but still, like this document NPST is intended for kind of doing 2-3 things. One is about, this times the policy itself, the policy and then the following documents like National Curriculum Framework, etc., they are a little different than the earlier ones. Because they not only recommend things, but then they also tell you how to implement those recommended things. That's why, if you have seen the National Curriculum Framework, the earlier one was only 60 pages, 65 pages. But this time it is 600 pages, 10-fold. So, in that sense, the whole intention was to, transform the whole education system in the country. So the catchword is transformative here. I would like to kind of start from there. So if you wish to transform something, then we always ask who will do that? Who will be the transforming agents, change agents will be there. Then the document itself says it's the teachers. Because they are at the center of all changes. And then they should be acting as a transformative agent. So the intention again in the policy is to, just to bullet points is that then if the teacher has to be the transformation agents or change agents, then we need to have the best people in the country to be brought in the teaching profession. Then, there are a lot of recommendations about how to draw, how to attract the best talent in the pool. Then, then we should, it's not only sufficient to get the best people in the system, but then we also need to have mechanisms which will empower them to effect the change, the transformative process. So to empower them, there are several recommendations which is to do that. And in that sense, to get the best people in the system, to empower them, to facilitate them to act on the transformative processes with the policy intends to. So there are few things that have been done, and among those few things, these two, the interventions from the NCTE are the most important. One is about, as Ma'am just said, to have a uniform understanding of good quality teachers or to have a professional standards of the teachers. the document itself, NPST, National Professional Standard of Teachers, has been kind of developed. And then many things have already been spoken about. Then to to meet that standards for the teachers, the supporting mechanism has also been designed in the form of, there are other things also like we talk about continuous professional development, we talk about different other mechanisms to bring their capacity as per the required standards, but at the same time a full-fledged intervention which has been declared as a mission. It's a national mentoring mission. Please give this emphasis on the word mission. Mission means like something we have to do urgently. So in that sense, the national mentoring mission has been started with. Now then, just to quickly review, because we need a lot of feedback from the front benchers here, because we understand they are the policy implementers, they are the officials. So now the question is, whatever the standards have been defined in the NPST, then the first thing is all states have their own mechanism of evaluating or have the academic appraisal of the teachers in the place. Now we have a national professional standard of teachers. Now the question is how much we can adopt that in the state and then integrate that in the ongoing process of evaluating teachers. And the recommendation is also to evaluate the teachers and also connect that evaluation in terms of their promotion. I mean, the document says that the promotion should not be on the basis of the length of the service rendered by the teacher, but as per their competencies they have shown as per the standards depicted in that document. So now the document also goes to actually define the competencies that the teacher has to have. It not only defines what quality teaching is, but it also goes one step further to define the competencies of the teachers. And the competencies of the teachers is also in the different stages. As Professor Roy was asking, that it's not very linear, you should understand that, because there are three domains in which the standards have been defined. One is about a very universal thing, which is actually values and the ethics, which every teacher is expected to have. They have to have an exemplary, maintenance of the value. That's one domain which is universal and which is same for all stages of teachers. Then the other one is they also need to have knowledge, and that knowledge needs to be adopted in the practice. So that's another standard. There are other domains, there are domains of sub-domains of that, which is standard. And the last one is about the professional growth and development. That intention is there. And the competence, the overall arcing of this whole standard, defining of standards, domains, and sub-domains is that there are four or five attributes that teacher has been defined. One is about the values and ethics. As I said, the teacher has to have his intrinsic values, value respect to the constitution or the pluralistic, whatever our democratic values our country has. So that is one domain is there. The other one is about the knowledge. Whatever subject he is teaching, he should be sound in his knowledge and the skill. That's another competence that has been defined. And the third one, which is most important, is that the third one is the capacity of using them in delivering them in the classroom. Capacity, skill is there. And the fourth one, which is most important for me, is that you might have knowledge, you might have capacity, you might have skill, but then the attitude of doing something positive. Attitude of doing something which may be transformative. Attitude doing something which may be effective to bring the change. That attitude also needs to be developed in the teachers. So these are how the competencies have been defined. And then as the movement is that the document actually, when it was being prepared, we had a discussion that it could be, there are some governments which actually the entry-level teachers might be good in that domain than the very experienced teacher. Experience does not only means the length of time you have served, but then the pace with which you have built your capacity, the pace or the intention with which you have capacitated yourself to build the capacity, that is also important. One example was that in technology. On the new entrants, the young teachers will be much more tech savvy than the senior teachers. So they can be actually the mentors. No, it's not only the label. So that much of your flexibility has already been spoken in this document also. Feel like it's not only the senior experienced teachers from whom we should be learning, but then there are youngsters who come with their own, build their own capacity from where each one can draw. So that's why this document actually talks about that social kind of, building capacity, meaning like a lot of emphasis now is given by the peer consultations, like learning from the peers, and that development of the professional learning circles about that. So in that sense, but then the question which we would like to throw to the audience, it is from as a SCRT side, because SCRT is in such a position that we can see what is happening in the national level, and we can also see what is going on in the state. We are at the interface of that. So national intentions, whether they are being able to incorporate down to the practitioners, actual ground level, what is happening in the ground level. So SCRT is in that position to see both sides of the coin. So in that sense, so NPST document is a very, very interesting document that has been created, but that has to be integrated in the system or whatever system we have in our other state. So that is one challenge. We just wanted to talk with the audience about that. And then there are supporting mechanisms like national mentoring mission is there, this is going in the mission mode. And there are talking about the continuous professional development, how to develop the schemes of that. There are a lot of platforms, the platforms are there. So in that sense, this program is a very interesting to look at MAPSET, very good experiment in thing. And then we understand from our past experience that we will be successful. So that's the.
Thank you, sir. Very nice. Thank you very much. Rightly said, sir, there are many areas, many aspects to teachers' competencies. Say, you mentioned knowledge. I find under this knowledge word, there could be content knowledge, there could be pedagogy knowledge, there could be ICT knowledge, there could be integration technology knowledge. In all these parts of knowledge, and sometimes we fail to understand this integration, the final stage also, and then it marks the delivery, the quality of delivery. So knowledge itself, sometimes, so as a teacher educator or a student of education, we have to understand the nitty-gritty, the detailings of all those things. My next question is for Sri Binaji. Binaji is a practitioner, practicing mentor, very renowned mentor. My question to you is, when we think of mentoring, there are different words sometimes we use. It's coaching, teaching, assistance, and then mentoring. And then we visualize from these two documents that there is one, online platform for NMM, and then we are also visualizing the school itself as a seat of mentoring, physical, and then again we are visualizing to have a national, technological platform for all these things. So how do you see that these two things can be integrated somewhere, or can go side by side, or can be complementary to each other? How do you visualize it? What are the problems you see in your challenges you see there?
Thank you, sir, and thank you for this wonderful question.
बीइंग अ मेंटोर, सबसे पहले तो मैं यही बताना चाहूँगा कि नेशनल मिशन ऑफ मेंटरिंग NCTE द्वारा सक्सेसफुली चल रहा है देश भर में, और यह बात किसी से छुपी नहीं है। तो मैं बीइंग अ मेंटोर इस चीज का खुद एक गवाह हूँ कि किस प्रकार से शिक्षक ना सिर्फ पर्सनलाइज्ड मेंटरिंग के लिए वन ऑन वन टाइम को शेड्यूल करते हैं और बताए गए उन 21 डोमेन्स में, जिनमें से एक डोमेन आपका CPA का है, जिसमें पेडागोजिकल सब्जेक्ट बेस्ड डोमेन्स भी हैं, इंडिविजुअल डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर ओन इंडिविजुअल सब्जेक्ट। टीचर्स इंडिविजुअल मेंटरिंग को भी शेड्यूल करके हमसे वन ऑन वन मेंटरिंग ले रहे हैं, बल्कि ग्रुप मेंटरिंग जो भी डिफरेंट मेंटर्स शेड्यूल करते हैं उनके पोर्टल पर अवेलेबल होती हैं, और अपनी स्पेसिफिक नीड बेस्ड जो उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट है, जिसमें उनको ट्रेनिंग चाहिए, उस पर्टिकुलर टाइम स्लॉट में वो जाकर उस पर्टिकुलर मेंटरिंग सेशन को अटेंड करके ना सिर्फ अपस्किलिंग कर रहे हैं, अपग्रेड कर रहे हैं अपनी नॉलेज को, बल्कि और बेहतर एक्सपीरियंस टीचर्स के तौर पर कुछ टेक अवेज उन मेंटरिंग सेशन से लेकर जाते हैं। ये है नेशन वाइड जो भी NCTE ने नेशनल मिशन ऑफ मेंटरिंग चलाया हुआ है। जहां तक बात है इसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की, और ब्लेंडेड मोड में कहना चाहूंगा, जैसे ऑनलाइन तो चल ही रहा है, स्कूल्स में भी यस वी ऑल आर डूइंग समवेयर। अगर मैं बात अपने विद्यालय की करूं शुरुआत में, तो यस अपने विद्यालय में भी आप अगर जनरलाइज बात कर देते हैं, पहले CPD की बात तो सभी कर रहे हैं, 50 आवर CPD सभी गवर्नमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस में है, तो वहां पर यही बात है कि जो भी कंटीन्यूअस प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट है आपको 50 साल तक सभी को करना है। तो कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है सर, आपने एक सवाल पूछा ना कि किस तरह से इंप्लीमेंट हो सकता है, तो ये एक सजेशन के तौर पे भी है कि CPD के साथ अगर ये लिंकअप हो, जो कि मुझे पूरा विश्वास है फ्यूचर में होगा, तो वो एक चीज बहुत निखर कर सामने आएगी। और जो हम बात कर रहे हैं अपस्किलिंग की और एक्सपीरियंस बेस्ड लर्निंग की, वो मैं स्कूल में, अपनी स्कूल में भी हम करा रहे हैं, ट्रेनिंग्स दे रहे हैं, डिपेंडिंग ऑन नीड असेसमेंट करते हैं इस टॉपिक पर। जैसे आपने भी टेक्नोलॉजी का एक बहुत अच्छा टॉपिक बोल दिया, इंटीग्रेटेड टेक्नोलॉजिकल नॉलेज की बातें, और किस तरह से और बेहतर तरीके से शिक्षक कर सकते हैं उन टॉपिक्स को लेके, डिपेंडिंग ऑन किस तरह की चीजें हम चाहते हैं, क्या पेडागोजिकल नॉलेज पर ट्रेनिंग चाहते हैं, क्या हम चाहते हैं टेक्नोलॉजी बेस्ड ट्रेनिंग, उनकी नीड असेसमेंट करके हम विद्यालय स्तर पर वो ट्रेनिंग्स करा सकते हैं। और क्या आपने और सवाल पूछा, NPST को क्या NMM से लिंक कर सकते हैं? यहाँ पर एक बात ध्यान देने वाली है, रॉबिन सर ने बड़ी बारीकियों के साथ आपको बड़ी अच्छी अच्छी बातें बताई हैं। उसमें सर ने एक बात बताई कि किस तरह से टीचर का जो प्रोफाइल है वो PUK यानी प्रवीण, उन्नत और कुशल शिक्षक के तौर पर 3 स्टेजेस में है। ये जो हम बात कर रहे हैं कि कैसे ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होगा टीचर का फ्रॉम प्रवीण टू उन्नत टू कुशल, मुझे लगता है इसके लिए जो ये मेंटर और मेंटी की हैंड होल्डिंग है ना, ये एक बहुत बड़ा की रोल एस्टैब्लिश करेगी। क्योंकि अगर हमें और बेहतर एनहेंसमेंट ऑफ स्किल करना है, तभी तो हम अगले स्टेज पर जा पाएंगे। क्योंकि NPST बात करता है कॉम्पिटेंसीज की, और उन कॉम्पिटेंसीज को जब हम ग्रहण करेंगे, उन कॉम्पिटेंसीज पर शिक्षक जब खरा उतरेगा, तभी वो अगले स्टेज पर जा सकता है। अब सवाल उठता है कि उन कॉम्पिटेंसीज पर शिक्षक खरा कैसे उतरेगा? शिक्षक खरा उतरेगा जब उसको उनकी वो पर्टिकुलर स्पेसिफिक स्पेशलाइज्ड नीड की बेस की ट्रेनिंग दी जाएगी। अब वो जो ट्रेनिंग है, या तो उसका इंस्टीट्यूशन या गवर्नमेंट बॉडी जहां भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में वो कराएंगे, अदरवाइज देयर इज नेशनल मिशन ऑफ मेंटरिंग जो नेशन वाइड है, और टीचर या इंस्टीट्यूशन उसको पिकअप करके अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन या टीचर्स की जरूरत के हिसाब से उनको वो ट्रेनिंग को प्रोवाइड करा के एक स्टेज से दूसरे स्टेज में जाने में सहायक हो सकता है। तो ये जो एक NMM है, जो मेंटरिंग है, ये एक गैप को ब्रिज करने का काम करेगी, सहायक होगी, कैटलिस्ट होगी कि ये जो प्रवीण शिक्षक है ये उन्नत शिक्षक के स्टेज पर जा सके, और जो उन्नत शिक्षक है वो कुशल शिक्षक के स्टेज पर जा सके। सो आई कंप्लीटली सी इट एज कि ये दोनों कॉम्प्लीमेंटिंग है सर। तो मैं संक्षिप्त में यही बताना चाहूंगा सर। जी थैंक यू एवरीवन।
थैंक यू विजय जी, बहुत बढ़िया। ये जो चैलेंज तो वही है कि जब गैप को ब्रिज करना हो, होल को प्लग करना हो, रफू करना हो, डैमेज को, यही तो बड़ा मुश्किल काम है। और मेंटरिंग तो यही तो जरूरत है। बाकी तो फुल स्केल चीज हम मिल से निकाल के कपड़ा दे ही रहे, रफूगिरी करना ही बड़ा चैलेंज है। My question is to Ma'am Nirda Devi ji. She is heading the state, she is the director SCRT Assam. Ma'am, now we understand that these two documents, they are commissioned, they are out, they are commissioned, accepted by the government of India, and they are being implemented to some extent by the government of India. But still, states have to take it forward. So, how do you visualize, the challenges, or rather the readiness? How ready the states are, the state institutions are in terms of, the institutional culture, in terms of, the facilities over there, in terms of, the support system, the structure itself, how ready the state is to take it forward. These two documents with the essence, with the right spirit, the documents are advocating for.
Thank you. First of all, I have been looking at, because it is a post-lunch session and it is being too long. People are now impatient of this, of course. Anyway, these two documents, NPST and NMM, I think it is open to all now, and everybody has, although not fully, but they have seen at least the cover page of it on the board. First of all, I would request the student teachers to go through it. See NPST first, find out the standard, assess themselves, assess yourself, and you see gap yourself. Self-analysis is the best analysis. And after that, what type of mentoring you need, you go ahead. As ma'am has already said, Indo Prasad ma'am, that sitting on the front line, we are going away of the system slowly. But you are coming into the system. So if from the beginning itself, your self-analysis is properly with, if you know the standard, and why it is done, it is fully explained, I don't go for that. Again, in support of centrism, that I am saying, SCRD is floating in between. They are always getting challenges to meet up the national demand, and also at the same challenge to implement the same in the field. Because there are many deficiencies and many gaps, and SCRTs is only the academic part of it supporting, and there is another part to convince the state administration. So, looking at this three-phase dimension, we are in the floating in between, but still, as we all are considered as in the education field, many of the things that we can do of our own if we analyze itself. NPST and NMM, what I feel, this is a national framework. Like NCF is a national framework based on the policy and NEP 2020. It is not said here that you have to follow word by word in total in your state. So, depending on the diversity of our country, depending on even not country, if we consider our state Assam, it is itself a diversified state, multilingual state, more than 25 languages are there. We are having 14 medium of instructions in schools. So it is that multilingualism is another challenge in Assam. So as such, considering this as the frameworks, we can take it forward and customize as per need of our state. And depending on that, considering this thing, we have already constituted a committee. We are working on this NPST, and I think very shortly we will come up with some of these decisions we will place before our state government regarding this, for the implementation of this part. That is one way. Yeah. So, yeah. But one my feelings is, whatever all these documents that we are publishing, what is our main objectives? Why this teacher preparedness? Why this mentoring mission come up? Why this professional standard is defined? Our objective is to build our future generations who are coming to our schools. So, main objective is same across the country. So, everything is linked to it. The classroom transaction and beyond, outside the classroom, inside the classroom, dealing with our children. In the morning session also we have gone through the ITEP program. That one of the challenges that we are getting in Assam. I am really very glad to inform you that Assam is the state in the Eastern Zone Empire have got recognition for the highest number of IGP units. We have already started 500 seats in our integrated IGP. We have also got recognition for secondary, for middle stage also. But what is, I am just talking about this after analysis, the challenges. In case of enrollment, the students are getting enrolled in secondary. But in the middle stage course, the seats are lying vacant. Students are not encouraged, we are encouraging, but they are not interested in taking this middle course. We have analyzed why it is there. Probably we have seen that nobody after class 12 wants to become a teacher at elementary level, at foundational level, preparatory level. At least if they want to be teacher, they will go for secondary. And that is the main reason why even after getting recognition, we are not getting enrollment in the middle stage of this. This is again because of our Indian system. In Western country, in Finland, it does not happen like this. Because the foundational education is considered as the best profession there. And here it is considered starting from their salary itself. This is also the practical point, and it is not equivalent. So students are interested for secondary, not for foundational, preparatory or middle. Now, that is one of the challenges. How will we move for that? And probably that guideline will also make, that curriculum may also have to change in some cases. We have discussed in many other workshops also. I have just initiated to write to the government, and through government, we will just place our experience before NCTE so that the review can be done on that part. But if we want to be a teacher, our skill is there, mentoring will put you the skill. But the best one point is our attitude, the motivation. If we are not passionate, then whatever skill we have, we will not be able to be a good teacher. And then our future generation, future India will not be built up. That is developed. And that is why, this is my request here, that before entering into this subject, our would-be teachers should think twice that once I go to this subject course, I will dedicate it as myself as teacher. Because it happens in India in many places. Get job as a teacher, that is the first entry, backup, and then they are trying for other job, for other administrative service, for other things, and as a result, although they are well equipped, although they are skilled, they are not dedicating their time with their choose to that. After all, we are losing. Our next generation is losing. I hope that intention, that motivation is to be made. And I hope if we go through this NPST document properly, if we go through the mentoring, and of course, there will be some change needed from the governance side also, it will be done, because everything cannot be done at a time. So, this is only my appeal to all this. Let us come forward to be a good teachers. Let us dedicate to build our future generations, to get India as we seek for. Our dream, we dream for in future. That is only what my appeal is. Otherwise, documents are there, guidelines are there, mentor-mentee platforms are there. People will be learned, development of skill, build up our own skill is not very costly and not very difficult. But first of all, be passionate, be motivated, and then only come for this teaching job. Otherwise, we should also think of that we don't have right to spoil our future generation without our motivation. That is what my appeal to my student teachers and the teachers family. Regarding the mentoring mission, as we are saying, the teacher education institutions, where the standalone teacher education institutions are also there. It is not that because they are not undertaking the integrated course, they are deprived. It is not that. There are so many options for these teacher educators as mentors. We can go for it. In-service teacher training, that CPT course, and this mentor one is one important part. Our diets, our B.Ed colleges, standalone B.Ed colleges, and other also, we should move for that. This is not as an after analysis what I have seen, this is one feeling only, and this is my appeal to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Well said. Yeah, it is very good learning from you and a very good message for all of us, what you have said. Now, my questions would be to these two esteemed panelists. They come from DIET, they are the principals. They are working at the cutting edge of this teacher education. As ma'am had mentioned the word CPD, it's mentioned in the policy document also, and it's a continuous professional development. And being a right leader, right faculty, how do you visualize this CPD in terms of the physical board, short term, online, blended, and this NPST, the concept, very concept there, and then NMM. How do you mix all these three things, and how your institutions are ready for that? So first, sir, can we hear from you?
Before going to say something about the query, sir, I want to request all of you to please be seated for. Yes, sir. Just yes. So I would like to request all of you, please sit for a while with cross-handed position. Please, just for a first while. Cross-handed position, please. It's my sincere request to all of you. Cross-handed, like this. Done, fine. Now reverse your position, please. Reverse. Change your hands.
Yes, wait, let me see the change.
So which one was better? The first one or the second one? First one. Why? Because we are feeling comfortable, we are accommodated and all the time are doing that. No, that is our nature. So why are we? I wanted to say that because now we are having a transition phase. A lot of changes is being visible in the national scenario. That is, the ITEC is being implemented across the nation. So there must be a lot of challenges in implementing this ITEC program. Yes, as time culture, I have to focus on CPD, continuous professional development. Being the principal of DIET, I would like to share my experiences. What sort of CPD program are being done in our DIET? First of all, we conducted assessment for the teachers. What sort of requirement the teachers have? For that, we conducted need assessment test. And after analyzing, we go for content enrichment courses, pedagogical enrichment courses, seminars, workshops, workshop for material developments, and all those things are conducted in physical mode. And in some cases, we also conduct blended mode. I mean, we conduct online courses through LMS, that is Learning Management System. Apart from conducting this CPD, we are also conducting the flagship program of our state, that is in the state of Odisha, that is DIET CRC linkage. The DIET and CRC all you know that cluster resource coordinators. There is a linkage between DIET and the CRC. And in that program, the DIET faculties are assigned with different blocks of the districts. Because every district has a DIET, everybody of us know that. And each faculty proceeds to a block point, to the school point in fact, to provide mentoring, what we are talking about today. That is NPST and mentoring, National Mission for Mentoring. And this mentoring, what we are talking about here is basically on digital mode, but we do the mentoring, but we in fact, in our state of Odisha, that in physical mode. We move to the school points, we hold classroom observations there, and after observing the class, we sit together and with all the headmaster and the practicing teachers and all the teachers sit together and we discuss what sorts of what they are actually lacking, what they are having good qualities and how they are managing the class. Everything we discuss and we do mentoring session for the teachers. And all these things we are doing in our state of Odisha. Thank you so much, sir.
तो संजय जी
तो फर्स्ट ड्राफ्ट आया तो मैंने पढ़ा, तो उसमें से 4 पहले रिवीजन में थे, फाइनल ड्राफ्ट आया तो 3 डिवीजन में थी। जहाँ तक सर ने डाइट्स की बात की है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ बिहार को पिछले 2 सालों से हम लोग लगातार कंटिन्यूअस प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट करा रहे हैं। आप इसे अचीवमेंट बोले चाहे जो बोले, पिछले 23-24 सेशन में हम लोगों ने बिहार के सारे टीचरों को 50 घंटे का प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट का फिजिकल, और 23-24 का जो 24-25 सेशन चल रहा है, इसमें 27 मार्च तक अभी तक हम लोगों ने 97-98% टीचरों को करा चुके हैं। मार्च 27 तक 100% दिया बट एक जो बहुत जो हम लोग ग्राउंड पे घूमते हैं ट्रेनिंग कराने के बाद, तो वो जो उसका जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है वो बहुत कम दिखता है। और जब हम लोग बात हुई एटीट्यूड की, टीचरों के एटीट्यूड, वो मतलब बहुत कम दिखता है कि टीचर के एटीट्यूड में चेंज आ रहा है। वी आर रियली सफरिंग फॉर इट। बहुत इतना मेहनत करने पर, इतना एनर्जी लगाने पर जो एटीट्यूड में चेंज नहीं आ रहा, तो दुख होता है। बट वी आर ट्राइंग फॉर दैट कि कैसे इसको बार-बार ठीक किया जाए, उसके लिए नेशनल मिशन फॉर मेंटरिंग तो हम लोग नहीं पूरी तरह कर पाए, लेकिन पर्सनल लेवल पे हम लोग जा करके उस टीचर को मेंटरिंग करते रहते हैं कि कैसे आप ठीक करें, कैसे आप ठीक करें। अभी आप जानते हैं हमारे जो टीचर्स हैं उनको एक छोटा सा लर्निंग प्लान बनाना पड़ता है पढ़ाने से पहले, जिसको हम लोग बिहार में पाठ टीका कहते हैं। They don't have a format for that. So it is privileged to CAMO that we have taken the research for that, और हम लोगों ने उसका एक फॉर्मेट तैयार किया है कि हर टीचर को ये बनाना पड़ेगा। Now we are going to present this to NCERT कि एकदम स्टेट में इसको लागू किया जाए, समथिंग ऐसे। और जहाँ पे बात है NPST की, तो मैं सारी पैनलों को सुन करके थोड़ा सा मेरे अंदर घबराहट इस बात की है इसको स्टेट में कैसे लागू करेंगे। जैसा सर डायरेक्टर सर लोग बैठे हुए हैं, हमारे डायरेक्टर सर हैं, और राइटली सेड सर की ग्राउंड लेवल पर जो इसको लागू करने में, खासकर स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के साथ लागू करने में पॉलिसी में बहुत सारे, क्योंकि जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर होते हैं, जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होता है वो दूसरे तरीके से सोचता है, और जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होता है वो दूसरे तरीके से सोचता है। तो इन दोनों के बीच जो सामंजस्य बैठाना है, मैं उसको लेकर के थोड़ा आप लोगों को सुनने के बाद थोड़ा चिंतित हूँ कि जब मैं यहाँ से आज जाकर डायरेक्टर साहब को रिपोर्ट करूंगा तो मैं उसको कैसे समझा पाऊंगा कि हाउ वी गोइंग टू इम्प्लीमेंट दिस NPST एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स। इट इज रियली डिफिकल्ट टास्क, लेकिन फिर भी करना तो है, ये तो तय नहीं करेंगे ही करेंगे। कितना उसको किस तरह उसको समझा करके किस तरह उसको किया जाएगा ये तो तय होगा ही होगा। सो जैसा कि सर ने कहा कि NCERT जो है नेशनल और स्टेट के बीच का है, तो डैट जो है वो स्टेट और जो ग्राउंड टीचर उसके बीच का है, और स्टेट हमें देखता है, हम यहाँ से देखते हैं, और ये इंफॉर्मेशन ऐसे पास आउट होता है। सो मतलब कैसे करेंगे आई डोंट नो, मुझे अभी फिलहाल समझ में नहीं आ रहा। जैसा कि मैंने कहा कि आसाम में कुछ पॉलिसी मेकिंग बन रही है, सो वी कैन लर्न फ्रॉम दैट आल्सो।
अपने यहाँ का
जी, तो वहां से लोग लर्न कर सकते हैं। और एजुकेशन पे जब भी मैं टीचरों से बात करता हूँ एटीट्यूडनल चेंज की, या आप कैसे अपने आप को ट्रांसफॉर्म करेंगे, क्योंकि मैं इसमें ये भी सोच रहा हूँ कि जो पहले से टीचर हैं उनको किस स्टेज में आप रखेंगे, जो 3 स्टेजेस है उस स्टेज में किस स्टेज में टीचर को रखेंगे, हाउ यू विल बिल्ड, वी हैव टू थिंक फॉर दैट आल्सो, किस स्टेज में उसको रखा जाएगा। वो आप जानते हैं कि प्रमोशन को और इसको लेकर के कितने लोग वहां पर स्टेट में बवाल होते हैं, ये होते हो, उनको आप किस स्टेज, वो जो इंटरनल इवैल्यूएशन और एक्सटर्नल इवैल्यूएशन की बात चल रही है वो कैसे होगा। एक्सटर्नल इवैल्यूएशन में मैं पढ़ रहा था कि वहां पर पूरा बॉडी बना हुआ है जिसमें डीओ, डायरेक्ट प्रिंसिपल और कुछ लोग शामिल हैं, दे विल डू द एक्सटर्नल इवैल्यूएशन। सो आई एम थिंकिंग दैट ये होगा कैसे, हाउ वी डू दैट, ओके। और जब हम लोग ट्रेनिंग देते हैं टीचरों को, तो मैं हमेशा ही अपने जब भी नया बैच आता है आई आस्क टू देम कि आप लोगों में से कितने लोगों को पढ़ाने में मजा आता है। मजा मतलब इंटरनल मजा, बहुत कम टीचर मिलते हैं जो बोलते हैं कि इंटरनल मजा आता है। इन्हीं चंद शब्दों के साथ मैं समाप्त करूंगा, लेकिन आई एम थिंकिंग दैट हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू इम्प्लीमेंट दिस NPST एंड NMM। थैंक यू सो मच सर।
धन्यवाद संजय जी। Now we have got enough insights, enough viewpoints on different aspects of these two major initiatives, NPST, NMM, the joint thing, the combined concept, the seeds of mutual exchange and all those things, and some of the constraints from the field also we have understood. Mainly with the existing teacher, the support mechanism, the lack of motivation and all that. So now the house is open. I am sure you may have many queries, doubts. You wanted to ask many questions. Anybody? Mike will go to reach you.
Myself, I'm associated with one organization. It's a leading organization of the country.
because we have 22 chapters. Even in Bihar we have. It was recently reorganized and they are working fine. It is Council for Teacher Education Foundation. And most of our objectives are three goals: the teachers, the students, and the parents. These are the three important goals of education. So what our objective? One objective is the need-based training and professional development of teachers. We have committed teachers, members, in every state. So they take up that part, including FD, orientation, etc., etc. And we provide need-based service to the students, guidance and counseling, and psychological and social, that part I take it up myself, and also for the parents, awareness program, even including NEP, ITEP, that we have started. So in Bihar we have one in, the resident is in Darbhanga. I can give you the address and all. So if you can contact, then for professional development and also mentoring, I think they can be in a position. And if you contact me, I can talk to them to help you. This is a great help from this side. Okay? That will also help you. This was what I wanted to say.
Very can pinpoint it.
Yes, sir. I can't pinpoint it. It's a huge question, but I try my level is. The question is attitude or motivate the teachers. So why teachers will motivate? Why teachers will motivate? What is the reason behind it? We are a real person. I am a teacher. But the principal is why I will motivate? Why I need any teaching profession? Professionally, why I take my job professionally? Our mom is already stated that, background already stated that. I have some examples. I have a dedicated teacher, expert teacher. In an early stage, he recognized nationally, and after this, he left this job, teaching job. Reason is there. So without changing those reasons, discussing all these details here in such a plate, I feel it will not change because from 2005, we have NCTE 2005, the guiding principle not yet reflect in our actual classroom situation. From 1986 onward, we have different national and national policies. We are baptized also in between, but in real classroom situation, it is not happening. Classroom is yet to be a learning center. Learning is not happening in our classroom. We are discussing all the things. The main question is, we have to think how teachers should motivate. Teaching is a profession. It's like a profession like the until I get other professors, I will be here. Otherwise, I will leave this job. So we have to think. I think this is all the persons are there. We have to think from that perspective. Thank you, sir.
Very nice. We do understand the initiative of the government of India to make changes in the domain of the education, be in school education or higher education, wherever it is. But there are two provisions, and the things are not much clear. So just I want to understand from you. Number one, the promotion will not be done on the basis of seniority, and even the salary will not be enhanced on the basis of seniority. It will be done only through the performance appraisal. But the part of performance appraisal is not well defined, sir. Who will be the stakeholders and who will done that part and how it will be done. I have these doubts in my mind. Number one. Also, I was a teacher teaching to the student in college. We all are teachers, but many, the students coming to this field, I mean to teach the students and adopting the professional B.Ed or M.Ed course. So they are not coming by their passion. This is the hard reality. Only few. If I don't have any choice, then I am choosing the profession to be a teacher and to teach the students. So there are many important aspects that under NPST or NMM, like constitutional value of teachers, the professional ethics, their values, these all. So I hope that through these training programs, at least we can imbibe these all good values in the younger generation who is willing to teach the future generation. So more focus to be done on that part. And since one panelist from Ajimji Prem University. That university is also doing very wonderful job in our state in Arunachal Pradesh to impart training to our teachers through SCRT or through various guides. So thank you very much.
Want me to very quickly comment on that? That's a very pertinent question. In fact, both the questions, I mean, sir says, like, why should I be motivated? You know, like, our teacher can be motivated. I mean, there is no straight answer to that. That is the problem in the system, that we do have very able people in the system. I mean, from the knowledge point of view, they are 99%ers. I mean, percentage people are always there. But then that, overcoming that insecurity, why should I do? I mean, I love that tag of I can, but I want. Bangla mein kavita hai ki like ami jani kintu korbo kya? Meaning like, you know, like I know I can, but why should I? Why should I? I mean, jani kintu korbo kya? I mean, so we have to overcome that. That is the intention of the new education policy. And if you look at the curriculum framework, very interestingly, it turns on the three things: knowledge, skill as capacity, and last is value and disposition. And the disposition is all about this. I may have knowledge, I may have skill, but I don't have intention of working. That is a huge problem, right? So we have to collectively find an answer to that. There is no straight answer to that. So that is sir. And the one is sir said here about what happens to if we link it to the promotion, right? So that is the intention. Like the intention is that the promotion, the status quo is that we kind of do promotion in terms of the length. After 10 years, you get one grade, or I have a right to get promotion, something like that. But then that system is kind of not working. So can we think of some other alternative? Can we actually incentivize the merit? Right? If somebody has the intention of building their capacity and they go up to a higher level, then can we incentivize it? So these are the questions. These are very agreeable, very different points. But then NCTE is also thinking, is informing that the guidelines, the guidebooks are still in the pipeline. We are going to have some very thoughtful, created, developed guidelines for implementing that. So we have a long way to go. As Matt was saying, we have a long. The intentions are clear now. Intentions are clear now because we have to encourage best talents in the country to come to the teaching profession. We have to do something to retain them in the system. That's why the motivation comes. Linking the promotion to the incentivizing the merit comes. So the intentions are there because the statement in the new education policy itself is that the change makers are teachers. We can have a very good policy, but who will do that transformative job? It's the teacher. In the education system, it's actually the teacher. That 40-45 minutes that teacher spends in a classroom, that is actually the action point we have. And that classroom transaction should be as per the national intentions written in the new education policy. So we have to have the ecosystem that will encourage teachers to be retained, the best talents are retained in the teaching profession. The system facilitates them to work as they are intended to work. Not much administrative things, etc. So we have to change the whole ecosystem and the delivery of education, but we have a long way to go. Intentions are there, directions are being sought, 1 or 2, 3 experiments are being done. So if we do things right on this, then I'm sure we'll find the right one. So that's
See, I told him I won't speak, but I always think, I have nice lots of grey hair now, so I can give bhajan. All these things that all of you have said, you said, somebody else said in the morning, everything is true. It's not untrue. It's true. But I'll tell you the other side of it. I think we are going through one of the best times in teacher education that I have ever seen in the last 35 years. Because there is willingness to rethink, there is willingness to push boundaries, and there is understanding that if we don't do something fundamentally, nothing is going to change for the country, for the education. And once that understanding is there, I have lived through a time when people thought anybody could teach children. क्या है इसमें? और that to young children तो कोई भी चलेगा, कोई भी चलेगा. We are not there. We are now saying early childhood education is one of our highest priorities in the country. It's taken us this long to get to this point. And the entire world has agreed long ago that the ages between 0 and 8 are the most critical in any individual's life and in the life of a nation as a whole, because life outcomes change drastically if you do something in those first 8 years. Now we're at a point where we don't have to explain this to anybody. I think this is a massive step. That's one. Second, we are a complex country. We are complex, no? I have to tell you that. Every 200 kilometers we are one more country. The number of people who went to the Kumbh Mela is equal to half the population of Europe. But in our country, please, again I will repeat, why am I optimistic despite all these 10,000 problems? 30 years ago, the number of children in this country who did not go to school was equal to half the population of Europe. Today, 97% of children are in school. Please don't think this is a small achievement, and please don't think this has happened by magic. This has happened by constant, continuous push, effort, kick, hit, system hit, kick, not people, right? जबरदस्ती किया, प्यार से बोला, मिड डे मील बनाया, सब कुछ किया. Kids are in school. The CEO of the company, his kid is in school. The farmer, her kid is in school. The nomadic, वो भैंस चराने वाला, his kid is in school. Everybody is in school. Please don't think this is small. And we are talking here of 350 million children. We are not talking about 10, 5, 20, 100. That's one. Second, 350 million children in this country get a hot meal in school every single day. Not a small achievement, please. And in our country, food is not only food. Food is learning. It is nutrition. खाली पेट पे कोई कुछ नहीं सीखता है. And we manage this. Usual हमारा गिरते संभलते उठते बैठते we are managed, but we are managed. And we have made mistakes, we still make mistakes. Can things be better? Of course they can be better. Do we have safety issues? Of course we do. Do we have enough nutrition? No, we don't. Okay, but to get to this point, foundational literacy and numeracy, COVID destroyed us, completely destroyed us. Now you look at the results, it's starting to show. Is it perfect? Far from it. But is something happening? Yes. Yes. Is there work to do? 1,000 years of work is there to do. And that is our job. The job of people in this room. We can't be saying, oh, the system. We are only that system. No. Who else is that system? Can we, like I said, it won't happen by magic. But believe me, we are living in one of the best times for teacher education. Please let's take full advantage of this in whichever way we can. And actually try and make a few things move. The needle must move. 30 years later, when all these kids sitting at the back are in front, with the same grey hair as me, I hope we'll be talking about different things. And I'm quite optimistic that we will. बस हो गया भाषण. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have come to an end. All said and done.
Yes, as ma'am has said, in these two documents, the intentions are very clear, very good, very positive. Maybe our dilemma could be around or because of the existing implementation or practice in our states, in our places. But with time, we are growing, and these two documents also, they are going to do miracle in the coming days. So with these words, we call it a day, but before we disperse, I would request Vinayji to give a just formal vote of thanks. Vinayji.
As we are going to call it today, now सबसे पहले NCTE और NEHU की ऑर्गेनाइजिंग टीम्स तथा विभिन्न शिक्षण संस्थानों से आए हुए सभी माननीय विद्वजन और ईस्टर्न रीजनल टेरिटोरियल ज्यूरिसडिक्शन अरुणाचल प्रदेश, असम, बिहार, झारखंड, मणिपुर, मेघालय, मिजोरम, नागालैंड, उड़ीसा, सिक्किम, त्रिपुरा और वेस्ट बंगाल से आए हुए सभी आदरणीय विद्वजनों, साथ ही साथ मंचासीन सभी प्लेनरी सेशन द्वितीय के पैनल मेंबर्स, प्रोफेसर इंदु प्रसाद जी, प्रोफेसर सुभाष चंद्र रॉय जी, डॉक्टर रॉबिन छेत्री जी, डॉक्टर नीरदा देवी जी, मिस्टर विक्रम कुमार साहू जी, श्री संजय कुमार जी तथा आज के इस कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाने में जो भी प्रत्यक्ष तथा परोक्ष रूप से सम्मिलित रहे, उन सभी को हृदय तल की गहराइयों से मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करना चाहूंगा। और आज के इस कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाने में आपका योगदान सराहनीय है, अतुलनीय है। धन्यवाद।